I'm doing my best, and my best is good enough. This is the theme for the rest of our lives.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
So
here to talk about.
tell us, you emphasize capacity versus potential. What are the differences there?
So potential is what we potentially can achieve in our lives or in a project. So I have the potential to keep a beautiful home. Oh my goodness, my baseboards could be sparkling and not a single bit of dust, right? Potentially I can do that. I'm able to clean my house to that level, correct? But do I have the capacity to do that? Do I have the time and do I have the energy to do that? And we get hung up on, I should always be able to do my potential. The thing of it is, we only have so much time in a day or energy in a day. Our capacity is what we need to be operating in. And I'm doing my best within my structure that I've got today. And you know what? My best is good enough.
So why do most of us feel like our best isn't good enough?
Well, they get hung up in potential, right? Because 5 years ago, I could keep a sparkling house because I had a baby sitting in a playpen all day, and I had a 2-year-old who just kind of tottered around and only fed out of a high chair, and there were no messes. But now I've got 2 kids that are running around doing their own thing, pulling chairs up to the fridge, getting food off the top of the fridge, and doing all sorts of stuff. So my ability to keep up the house is very different because I have so much more going on and more factors. So I'm holding myself to a standard that was applicable 10 years ago. And women tend to do this a lot with our bodies. And oh my gosh, my skin. Oh my gosh, look at
wrinkles.
When I was 20,
right.
you're like, whoa, hey, you're doing your best at 41. Like,
Right.
all right, I'm doing my best, and my best is good enough.
Yep.
And then that comparison, we talk a lot about not comparing ourselves to other people.
Sure.
So we're on social media, and then we start looking at other people's pictures and thinking, well, maybe I should be doing that instead.
And what's best for someone may not be best for you.
And agreed. And they're only showing you that one picture. During the holidays, my child had an around the world pageant, and every homeroom was a different country.
I like that. Yeah.
And my 8-year-old's homeroom was France, and they said, hey, who could bring some Swiss cake rolls to showcase the Yule log, or you can make a Yule log, but just buy some Swiss cake rolls. Of course, I'm like, I want to make a traditional Yule log from scratch. And I did, and it was amazing, and it was beautiful. It took me 2 days.
Good job.
Yeah,
Way to go, Mom.
That was great. That was amazing. The house that week, though, was a disaster. There was flour everywhere. The dishes were piled up because it takes apparently a lot of dishes to make
a Yule log.
To make a Yule log from scratch. So people see the picture of the Yule log on Instagram, like, oh wow, Julie, goodness, she just executes everything to the. No, I made my bed all week, and I'm pretty sure I took my kids to a drive-through every night that I was working on this Yule log. I hear some French fries. There you go.
Yeah.
Eat up, kids.
They'll satiate you for a while, right?
And so we look at these pictures on Instagram and Facebook and assume that if you're executing that Yule log so beautifully, everything must be at that.
You have a Yule log team, I heard, though,
I do,
right?
yes.
Just kidding.
I have a team of people in my home. We do fine dining every evening.
Right.
We tend to look at something else someone does and say that must be how it is all the time, and that instead of thinking, gosh, it sure would be easier if I made $200,000 a year, or yes, I have this wonderful segment on Channel 4, but well, it's not a whole show, or well, my car is, it was nice 4 years ago, but goodness, it's covered in crushed up chairs. God, stop thinking about limitations and circle back to and say, I'm doing my best, and my best is good enough.
So how do we get ourselves into that positive mindset?
So you want to start shifting your inner dialogue, okay? Because we always tell ourselves a story. There's always something going on in our mind, and you want to be really self-aware. We've talked a lot about how important it is to be very tuned into ourselves. And when you find yourself saying, oh gosh, I wish I would have done that differently, and start getting on yourself about how you executed something, you pause and you say, you know what, I'm gonna shift this story to a loving declaration. And that might sound a little hokey, but a loving declaration is an I statement. It's an affirmative statement where it's saying, I bring my children on family memorable moments. I spend time with my family and we create memories. I have a fulfilled life and I'm able to spend it with my family in a happy way. And what you're doing is you are articulating what is good. You are reframing things.
Right,
and
for your own mind.
Because goodness, I mean, how exhausting would it be if all we were doing was focusing on how it's not good enough, how it's not good enough, how it's not good
We need
enough.
the positivity with us as well.
And you're being realistic too. You're not lying to yourself.
Right, that's true.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Julie. So to learn more about Julie, head to her website, 7602coach.com. You can also follow